Hello, everyone, and good day to you. I hope everyone is doing great. This is Roger, of course, with Grubus Games Unlimited, creator of Dungeon Crusade and the Avalon Adventure board game, and I welcome you back to our ongoing series here on how to set up and play both the Avalon Adventure board game and Dungeon Crusade. So I hope everyone's doing great. We have a few new subscribers to the channel. We welcome you. Thank you for subscribing. And if you're someone who just stumbled upon this video in the series, we of course welcome you and we're glad you're here. We hope you enjoy all this. So let me start with, I hope that you've enjoyed this series so far with the introduction and the overview. And I'll tell you, that overview was quite time consuming to put together. But I think it was well worth it and taking the time to do it. And to me, it was the perfect video for someone, you know, who says, what's Dungeon Crusade and what's the Avalon Adventure board game and what do you do? I think that was a good overview and a little bit in depth. And I'm just very happy how that came out. And thank you for all the nice comments too. Really very grateful to you. So as I said in the other video, all these videos that are going to be following now in the series, we're going to be doing here at the table. I won't, there's no need to narrate and script things out and make smaller videos. Of course, we'll be making small videos here, but, putting into the introduction and the overview. So they're going to, come out much quicker for you. What else? So this video in particular is we're going to discuss the components you're going to need to set up the Avalon Adventure board game, okay? So you're going to be incorporating some of your Dungeon Crusade content in with your Avalon Adventure board game content. So don't worry, we're going to go over all this in depth for you. And before I forget, if you have the game, and like I said, I think in the introduction, please feel free to pause this video and get your stuff out and set it up on the table. I think that, when you do that hands-on thing, you can get very acclimated to something really quick. So feel free to do that. And then let's see, so kind of like our schedule for what's going to happen. We're going to go over components needed here, how to set the Avalon Adventure board game up. The next video will be how to play the Avalon Adventure board game. Video after that, how to set up Dungeon Crusade, and of course, how to play. And before I forget, the Avalon, if you probably saw this in the overview video, the Avalon Adventure board game is very simple. This is a very easy game, but it's very thematic. So even in the Crusader's Handbook, it's only about 3 pages, how to play this game. But if you watch this series, you might already know how to play this game. It's very easy. So we're going to go over the setup here, and I think you'll enjoy this. And so there you go. I just wanted to show you that. So I'll tell you what, let's go down to the table. Let me show you the Avalon Adventure board game content, the Dungeon Crusade content, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's go over the game content for the Avalon Adventure board game. And then, of course, we're going to look at the components you'll need from Dungeon Crusade that you're going to mix in to, of course, play the Avalon Adventure board game. So you're going to need all of your adventure cards. Remember, we talked about that in the overview. There's this, like this green zone, yellow, tan zone, and red. So those are your adventure cards. You're, of course, going to need your game board. I'd put that in the middle of the table. Okay, and some of this content might be familiar to you from the overview video. These are your tracking tokens that come with the Avalon Adventure board game content. So you're going to need a good amount of those. Of course, the victory flag that represents all the heroes when they move into a different region. You need your 6 rejuvenation potions here. Here are the 3 runes of eternity. And then here's the 6 blue fake ones, the blue runes. We're going to get into what's on the reverse side a little further along. And of course, you're going to have your battle board for when combat breaks out in Avalon. And no, this is double-sided. So that's kind of like if you're in a dungeon, you use that side. And if there's like an outdoor area, you would use that side. Okay, so that is everything for the Avalon Adventure board game content that comes with this game. We're going to shoot over here and take a look at all the Dungeon Crusade content that you're going to need. Okay, let's start with these right here. These are, of course, the cardboard miniatures from Dungeon Crusade. These are all the monsters and creatures. And of course, you're going to be using these on the battle board we just looked at for when combat breaks out in Avalon. Now, there's two ways to do this. You can leave, your figures in like the case that I showed you in the introduction, and just pull as needed. When I play, I just like to have everything out so I can just reach over here and grab it. And this is actually where I usually keep it, is up here in the corner tucked away. So either way you want to play, like out of the box, so to speak, or have everything out here for you. Okay, and we're just going to kind of go right down here. Now let me explain something. These are the 6 heroes that come with Dungeon Crusade. Some of you may have the hero expansion pack, so you may have different heroes. For this video, I'm using the 6 heroes from Dungeon Crusade. Okay, so you'll need your cardboard miniatures for those, and then the initiative tokens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So make sure to have that out. And again, pause the video and go ahead and get that content out if you like. Over here, you're going to get their level 1 hero cards, okay? You do not need to pull their weapon cards for the Avalon Adventure board game. You can just leave those in your game box. All you need is their hero cards, the level 1. Over here, you're going to need, of course, 12 of the white clips to keep track of their essence. And remember, their essence bar is here, and their health bar is up here. The next thing you're going to need is all of the dice from your Dungeon Crusade game. So make sure to pull all of those out. The last pieces of game content you're going to need is your loot deck from Dungeon Crusade and all of your gold coins from Dungeon Crusade. Of course, the bronze, 100 gold, silver, 500 gold, and the gold coins that are worth 1,000. After you have all of that, we're ready to set up. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is set up our hero cards. I have my heroes up here in the initiative tokens. So what you're going to do is this. We're going to take just a hero card. You're going to take all of them, of course, to show you a quick demonstration. And you're going to take the clip, and there's a few different ways you can put it on. I put mine like that. And you're going to notice on all of the hero cards, there's that white circle. And so that is their starting health for level 1. So wherever a white circle is, you're just going to take one of your white clips and put it right there. See? Okay, so go ahead and do that. And then when the next video starts, I'm going to show you how I have my hero cards set out when I play. So go ahead and get to work with your white clips, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back with the hero card setup. First of all, let me explain something. When I play, I have all my hero cards. I'm going to go slow. I don't want to get anyone like motion sickness. This is how I have my hero cards set up. Just right along a straight line. And to be honest with you, it kind of reminds me of one of those PC RPGs like I talked about in that introduction video. But I have seen some people take theirs and put, like 3, 3 here in a column. And you can do that. So really, it's your preference where you want to put your hero cards. So, it's whatever you prefer. This is how I do mine. But let me explain a few things that's very important and a big role in the Avalon Adventure board game. You're going to notice the initiative tokens here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, goes up to 6. Once you place those, you are never permitted to move those. That's a huge rule. And you're going to understand why once we get into how to play. But just know when you put these initiative tokens down, that they have to stay there. Some of the adventure cards are going to call out about hero, for hero 1 or hero 5, and we won't get into it here. But just know it's a big role, and you'll see why once we get into it. Then I just put my cardboard miniatures here, in case a battle would break out on the battle board. Okay, let's go. Next, we're going to set up, at least how I do it, set up this area to the right. So be right back. Okay, and this is the right side of the game board here, and this is just what I recommend. Of course, you do what's comfortable for you, for your game session. But I keep my tracking tokens here, rejuvenation potions right here, and the battle board here. I want to say something real quick, side note, that some people were under the misconception that the heroes start with rejuvenation potions. They don't start with any of those. They must discover them in certain places in Avalon. So the heroes do not start with rejuvenation potions. They must discover them in their journey, in their adventure. Lastly, I'm going to move the camera real quick. Do me a favor, you can take one of these red tracking tokens. We're going to come up here to the fate track and just set it up here, off the board. Like you learned in the overview video, this will be used for the fate track, and so you can just use a tracking token. That's totally fine. Okay, and this is to the far left of where you saw those hero cards. I usually just put my dice pool right over here so you can just, grab any die you need very quickly. So again, just recommending maybe you want to place it there. The next thing I do is I take the bronze, silver, and gold coins and just put them to the left of the board, right above the treasure chest deck area. Again, just you can place those wherever you like. And the next thing we're going to do is set up all of the treasure chest decks, and I think you'll enjoy this. Here are the 193 loot cards for Dungeon Crusade. What you're going to do is divide them into the 8 different rarities. So right here is junk loot. You can tell what junk loot is because it says right here. Here is common gear, right here with the white crystal, and all of the other ones have the colors on them. So white, common. Over here is green, uncommon. Over here is blue, rare. Right here is purple, epic gear. Right here is orange, legendary gear. Black are underworld artifacts, the most deadliest weapons in the game and the most powerful. Then finally, here's the hero's starting gear. That is kind of like a gray crystal. Also notice here this Mallory's golden bow. There's 10 pieces of fabled gear. There's 2 in each of the white, green, blue, purple, and orange. So these are weapons that belong to the characters in the story I wrote for Dungeon Crusade. So make sure that you mix these 2 in with each of the white, green, blue, purple, and orange. For the Avalon Adventure board game, you won't be using the hero's starting weapons, so you can remove those. Put those back in the game box for now. And we won't be using any of the underworld artifacts. So take those out and place those back in the game box. Now that we have our loot all divided, we're going to create the bronze, silver, and gold treasure chest deck. Okay, we're going to create the bronze treasure chest deck, and then the silver, and then the gold. Let me explain a few things first. I used these dice here to show you how many cards you're going to have to pull from each deck. Okay? Another thing is, I have these, of course, flipped over. When you set your game up, you're going to flip these cards over. You're not going to want to know what's in those treasure chest decks. I just did it for this setup so I could show you and you fully understand how to pull the cards to create the treasure chest deck. Okay? So right here, from the junk loot, and remember this is for bronze, from the junk loot, we're going to pull 3 cards. From the uncommon white deck, we're going to pull 8 cards. From the uncommon green deck, we're going to pull 3 cards. And finally, from the rare blue, we're going to pull 1 card. And that formula is going to carry over for the silver and the gold. To save time, I'm going to pull those cards, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see I pulled 3 from the junk loot deck, 8 cards from the white common deck, 3 from the green uncommon deck, and 1 from the blue rare. And again, that formula will carry over to the silver and the gold. So what I'm going to do is put this over there by the bronze treasure chest deck, and then we'll just do this method here for the silver and gold. But do remember, you're not going to look at these in your game. You're going to have all these flipped over so you have no idea what's going to be in the treasure chest deck. Be right back. Okay, following that same exact formula for the silver treasure chest deck, we can see there's 3 junk loot cards. We have 8 cards from the green uncommon deck, 3 loot cards from the blue rare deck, and 1 from the purple epic deck. So I'm going to shuffle these and put them over by the silver treasure chest deck by the board. And finally, here we have the gold treasure chest deck. Here we can see 3 junk loot cards. Here's 8 cards from the rare blue deck, 3 cards from the epic purple deck, and finally 1 legendary card, orange, from the legendary orange deck. Okay, I'm going to shuffle these up and put them over by the board. Okay, here you can see our bronze treasure chest deck, our silver, and our gold. All of those other loot cards that we pulled from, those can go back in the game box for now. We will only be using these for the Avalon Adventure board game. Next, we're going to move on to how to scatter the runes throughout Avalon. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to randomly scatter the various runes around Avalon. Before we begin, I want to show you something. Notice here again we have our green region adventure cards, our tan yellow ones, and over here are red. Well, beneath them are the 3 runes. Like taking the green one here, here's the green rune and 2 fake blue ones. The yellow one, 2 fake blue ones, and over here the red, 2 fake blue ones. But I want to show you the reverse side of these. The green ones here, all have the same backing. Okay? See that? They all have like a green crystal. So what we're going to do is, we're going to turn those over and shuffle them. That way, when you place these, you have no idea where the real rune is. We'll just do these quickly here. I would shuffle them better, but to save on time. But you get the picture. Notice how those have a yellow and these have a red. So that's how you'll never know where the real Rune of Eternity is. Okay? So what you're going to do is randomly pick 3 adventure cards from each of the decks. Okay? So I'm just going to go through here and grab a few out. So here's 1, 2, and 3. To save time, I won't do the other ones, but you do the exact same thing. So, taking a look here, we have Witherbrook Forest East, the Tower of St. Viticus, and the Tower of the Maidens. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go over to our board and place these in those locations. Okay, here we are kind of in this green region here. Here's our runes right here. And we had pulled the adventure card for the Tower of St. Viticus. We'll put that there. We had pulled the Tower of the Maidens. We'll put that here. And finally, Witherbrook Forest East. We'll put that there. And you can kind of notice now, this is going to be fairly easy for the heroes because it's kind of all kind of like going straight down here. Where some games, they could be scattered way up here to the north in the village of Tau or Logan's Tower. So this is really good drop for the runes. It makes it for an easy game. So let's scatter the other ones and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so we're kind of in this yellow tan region now. So let's pull 3 cards randomly from here. 1, 2, 3. And let's see where these runes are going to go. Okay, the Crags. Very dangerous place. Okay, the Tomb of the Undead. And finally, this is the Runes of Hextor. Okay, let's head over to the map of Avalon and place these runes. Okay, now this is going to be a tough journey for the heroes. Notice, before we have the green runes kind of right here, but for the yellow or tan region, right here is the Tomb of the Undead. We're going to place a rune there. Now here's what's going to be troublesome. The Crags are south of Avalon, kind of in this desert arid area. So one of the runes are going to go there. Then way up here into the north by the village of Salemport, the Runes of Hextor is way up there. So this is going to be a fairly exciting journey for the heroes to go from all the way south of Avalon, all the way north. Okay, so let's place the red runes, and we're gonna wrap this up. Okay, in the red region here, we're gonna pull 3 cards at random. 1, 2, 3. Let's see where the runes will go. First place is Castle Blackwood. The next rune will go in the Dungeon of 13 Moons, and finally, Ashara's Tower. So let's head over to Avalon and drop these runes. Okay, so let's place our first rune over here at Castle Blackwood. And then what we had, Ashara's Tower, right over here. And finally, the Dungeon of 13 Moons is right here. Okay, all of our runes are placed. And there's one final thing we have to do for setup. And we're going to get right to it. The last thing we do is place the hero's flag here at Hope's Reach. Okay, everyone, and this concludes the components you will need to play the Avalon Adventure board game and setup. I hope you enjoyed that. It was kind of a fun video to make, and hopefully you learned a great deal from this. And from what you learned in the overview, you can almost see how this game is played. Very, very easy game, but super thematic and just a bunch of fun. So we have everything set up here, just like I showed you. Our miniatures are over there in the back. And so the next video, which will be out very quickly, because actually I'm excited to play this with you and show you how it's played and, you know, maybe get into some trouble with the heroes, will be out very, very soon. So we'll just run through, you know, what's going on. You probably already know how to play this. We'll have some fun with it. And then the video after that will be the setup for Dungeon Crusade. And then, of course, we'll run through how to play that. Okay, everyone. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you. I love you guys for, you know, your time, interest, excitement, and support. Very sincerely grateful to you. So I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, happy gaming, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.